Welcome to this episode of The Pursuit of Coconuts, where we're fighting corruption, food insecurity, and supporting farmers. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the 3 worst things and the 3 best things about building an aquaponic farm on an island that sits in the Ring of Fire. It's been over a year since we started building Isla Eden, which is a project of The Pursuit of Coconuts. Situated in the Central Visayas, here on the island of Bohol, with its white sand beaches, lush landscape, rocky and mountainous terrain, sits the Chocolate Hills, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It attracts hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every year. Wonderful diving, clear waters, and just a beautiful place, almost like heaven on earth. Yet, when you pull back the curtains a little bit more, things are getting a lot more expensive for locals. Our friends at Renewable Farms in Southern California gave us their plans and were generous enough and passionate enough about farming to spread the idea and the love of aquaponic farming. As we were building our farm, it was a great experience and a nightmare at the same time. Here are the 3 worst things about building our farm and the 3 best things about building our farm here in Bohol. And starting off with the 3 worst things, number 3. There is not a lot of local shops or resources for aquaponics, so there was a lot of innovation. This caused a lot of trial and error and was a nightmare to work around. The Philippines is made up of thousands of small islands, so a lot of the building material that I was used to, such as wood, was just not efficient. Wood cost more than concrete to build, certain fittings of pipes were not available, and everything had to be ordered online, which delayed building if we did not use local stuff. This was the first time aquaponics was ever introduced to the island, which meant everything was an explanation, even just to tell people what our goal was and what parts we were trying to find. We have since learned a lot, and now we know what to do with what we have, but it was a learning process. That was a nightmare. Worst thing, number 2, brownouts and natural disasters. Now you might be asking what a brownout is. It pretty much is a blackout where you have no power. Those interruptions are sometimes announced, and a lot of times they are not. Bohol does not have its own source of energy that is made here, so we import everything from other islands, which we are at the mercy of the servicers. We do plan to get solar, so hopefully that solves that problem, but the natural disasters are one that we are not going to get around. With over 20 typhoons a year and multiple earthquakes, because we sit on the Ring of Fire, we have to be careful about how and what we build. The town has already suffered one of the worst floods in history with Typhoon Odette. We are a little bit higher and away from that flood, but we still have chances of flooding around the area. A couple earthquakes have already hit, damaging our planters and equipment, and we just have to be ready for anything that comes. If I were to do it again, I probably wouldn't seal the concrete with just paint, but probably line the ponds and planters with a rubber lining. Too late now, and we will deal with what we've got and just pray that these natural disasters does not affect us much more. And number 1 worst thing about the aquaponic farm here in the Philippines is the high startup costs. With anything that is new and innovative, there is always trial and error, learning processes, and extra costs added to already a high cost of build. After having a working system, an example, and a training place to show other people, we have been experimenting with much more research and development. We're able to bring the cost down for local farmers, but that was the number 1 hard part of building, is just pouring money into this system. We're glad we did, but it was not easy. And here's what made it worth it. The 3 best things about building the farm in the Philippines. Starting off with number 3, easier labor. To farm about 1 acre of land and the whole farm, including fish to plants, we only need about 2 farmers to care for everything, from feeding to cleaning to maintaining to planting to harvesting. It only takes 2 people. Yes, you heard that right. And this is such a big difference from what they're used to, where they're tilling, planting, weeding, treating, trying to create soil from rocks, and then the terrain is just mountainous, this was the best thing about having the aquaponic farm, is that they were witnessing how easy it was to maintain such a large farm. And number two best thing is efficiency. Not only did we touch base on the labor efficiency, but we are in an area that is prone to droughts. There was a time period we didn't have water for 3 months, yet the aquaponic system stood the test of time and got through that season in a healthy, green, live way. Plants were growing 4 to 5 times as fast, and the harvest was coming. Sometimes we couldn't keep up with how many cucumbers we were growing. The efficiency just shocked the local people. They thought we were doing magic in rocks. And out of the three, the number one best reason why this farm was so successful and is worth it all is the innovation and progress. At the beginning, I was afraid that people wouldn't catch on or understand what we were trying to do, but the mindset and motivation has just been pouring in. Everybody's been asking questions, farmers have been trained and still training more. We've had universities contacting us and wanting us to do trainings and also speak in front of their kids. With Philippines' average farm age being over 68 and growing old quickly, this actually brings a lot of hope to a lot of the locals and the government here in the Philippines. Our project aims to address some of these issues by growing equity for farmers, finding ways to support them financially, giving them new technology and better methods to better use their strength and their passion for farming in a more effective and fruitful way. This has allowed us to create some strategic partnerships even with larger farms. It has stirred new ideas, have given new hope, and gives us a look into what the next generation of farmers are looking for. So those are the top 3 things that have stirred up the momentum of a lifetime. As we partner with other farms, train other farmers, and give opportunities, not only are we supporting the local economy, we intend to bring this to the world. We're going to bring local goods and commodities that are not found in many places around the world, develop them to the top of this industry in quality, and bring it to the world. So we're looking forward to partnering with the farmers locally, sharing what we've developed internationally, from virgin coconut oil to soaps to food to everything you can imagine that we want to replace our own pantries with. We're looking forward to seeing what is to come. And to imagine, it started with the worst and the best things of this farm, but it started here at Isla Eden. So we thank you for following along. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Every participation, every share helps us spread the good news and the good work of this social enterprise. Shout outs to all the local farmers and industry people that have helped us get us here. Malmis for bearing with us through the construction and trying to supply us with everything we need. The local government unit that has given us seedlings and supported us along the way. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And on to the pursuit to the next. Please follow along, hit that like button again, and put that ringer on to remind you when new episode comes. Thank you, audience. Thank you to the Pursuit of Coconuts tribe.